Good evening out there, basketball world. This is In the Spotlight Podcast, your host, Mike Melton. Episode 14, and we back again. Tonight, we got a very special guest, a friend of mine. We seen each other come up in this game, and just proud to let him come on here and tell his story, man, and talk about what he got going on. We got Rickey Sullivan from RJS Training in the building tonight. What's up, Rick? How you doing, man?
Hey, what's going on, Mike, man? I appreciate you having me, man. It's a blessing.
Yeah, indeed, man. And we're going to get into it. Let's see what's going on with RJS and how has training impacted the basketball world. And he's going to give us a little education on what actually goes on behind the lines in training and developing players. So, Rick, let's start from the beginning, man. Talk to us a little bit about your playing history and your basketball history, man.
I graduated from high school in 1996. I went to Pemberton High School. Coming out of there, I had one offer to Wichita State. Things didn't pan out. I ended up going to JUCO. I went to Mercer County College. At that time, we was one of the top teams in the country. I had a little situation that transpired, with the coaching staff, and I ended up walking away, man. And I ended up transferring colleges. I ended up going to Delaware State, man. It kind of changed my life a little bit. I got my hands tied into a lot of different things, and I let basketball kind of slip away from where my passion and desire was at. And every summer I come home, I get involved in playing, and in the summer leagues down Moody Park, Calwater Park, just a bunch of different pro leagues, pro-ams, and all that stuff. And I told myself, I was like, man, listen, before I finish school, I gotta make one last run for it. And I got into years back, the league that everybody played in was the USBL league.
Never remember that.
Yeah. So I made my run for it. You know what I mean? And things didn't pan out like I wanted it to, but I still continued to just grind and just play in different leagues. And I toured and did some stuff, played against the national team from Portugal, and just doing different stuff like that before I decided to just step to the side and just get myself involved on the coaching aspect of things, running my own AAU program.
Yeah, let's get to that. When and why did you start RJS AAU program?
To be honest with you, my oldest son, he was playing basketball. I was teaching him. He was real skilled and stuff like that. And my mom would tell me, hey, like I'll be in the bleachers, like, man, these coaches are terrible. Going back and forth. And she told me, like, yo, you can't make a change unless you get up out the bleachers and get out on the floor. So that's how things took off for me. You know what I mean? I started coaching my son. And a good friend of mine, she's from Willingboro. She actually was doing some coaching as well. She had some kids from Willingboro, and I had a bunch of kids from Pemberton. Her name's Nicole Smith, and we kind of
is that the lady that used to come to the tournaments with you?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I was always wondering who she was, bro.
Yeah. She was coaching in the Willingboro area. She also was a graduate from Delaware State. She played for the school.
Okay.
And so we just kind of connected, and we put our pieces together, and then we came up with RJS basketball, and that that's how things kicked off.
So how did you find out about basketball spotlight events and then decided to attend? Because I can't even remember if it was a phone call that happened or this or that. I was going through a lot of stuff back then. So how did you even discover it and then decide to want to attend?
Well, I'm always at basketball games. That's how I first seeing you. You were out, just working, like I told you. I just I seen you grind, and then I just started digging, asking a couple people about what you do, and then once I was getting my team together, I was the guy I always wanted to make sure my kids went against the best players always, no matter what. And I was like, the spotlight was the place to be. Going there, you liable to lose by 30 or 40. But I didn't have a problem with that, Mike. I didn't have that problem. You know what I mean? So, I wanted my kids to be dogs. You know what I mean? That was the only way to see some challenges and go through some things. And that's what we did. We stayed on that circuit. And then, you know, we made our way. You know what I mean? We knocked off a couple teams. You know what I mean? We made our little top 10 ranking in the tri-state. So from starting from ground zero with it to making
Indeed.
top 10, man, that's major. You know what I'm saying? So that showed growth.
Yeah, because you guys started in the blue division.
Yep.
Did y'all thing over there. Then y'all came with the big dogs.
Yep,
And y'all was holding your own, bro. I definitely give you props, especially since you had kids that was from that one particular area. You wasn't recruiting from a whole region. You get what I'm saying? So I definitely give y'all props, man. How do you feel your program impacted the South Jersey area?
Well, you got to understand that it wasn't really anybody doing what I was doing in the area at the time, you know, and you know, just through, you know, the network of people that I was, you know, connecting with, you know, it was spreading, you know what I mean? And before you know it, I started, you know, they got this travel league down in South Jersey called the South Jersey Boys Basketball League.
I heard about that.
And I before I started my AAU team, I was coaching my son's team in there. And I was like, man, this is how I'm going to put an AAU team together. I'm going to pick from all these little teams, whoever I can get my hands on, and then start merging a team that way. And then, you know, every year, you know, you find another kid, and then you pull one out, pull another one in, and then you start building. And then, you know, one thing leads to the next. The parents say, hey, it's a kid from this part of town. All right, cool. Let's get him in the gym. And then, you know, you just start connecting the dots. And then you got to figure, at the time, I had a kid that probably every team out there wanted, this kid named Barry Evans.
I remember Barry.
Yeah. Listen, let me tell you something. Every single team wanted him. Everybody. I mean, I got coaches calling me, oh, I'll fly you in. I'm like, nah, I'm cool. You know, it's cool. You know, I'll connect you with his parents because I felt that he deserved it. You know what I mean? So it was no holding nobody back. You know what I mean? If they got an opportunity, you know, they got to move forward, you know?
So once you had the team rolling, when did you think about expanding this thing into actually training and developing players?
So, you know, the crazy thing is, you know, with the AAU thing, kids always are jumping. You know, kids see one person like Barry, you know, he was our one kid who bloomed so fast. The other kids was still, you know, they were still going through the process. He took off, and then, you know, you'll have other parents who believe that their kid can go jump and do what he did. You know, sometimes they got to go out there and see it for themselves. They got to fall a couple times, you know what I mean, and realize that you got to let your son run his process. Everybody's not on the same time. You know what I mean? And at that time when I was seeing all those things, I was kind of like, I got to make my move to go into something else. But I know when I was with the kids, I seen the growth that I put in each player that I had on my team. So, you know, I realized that I was like, the relationships mean more to me than anything. You know what I mean? And long as I have that with them, they're going to always return. You know what I mean? No matter what. And that's when I realized, I was like, yo, it's time to just go into just straight training. You know what I mean? And I walked away from, you know, the AAU scene.
How did you feel leaving? Like, did you have any kind of regrets or anything?
Nah, not any regrets, but I felt like it was so much more I could give to the game as far as on the coaching side, because I didn't even reach my peak yet. You know what I mean? It's just like, I look at it like all these other teams had so many studs, and I'm like, you supposed to get what you're supposed to get out of that. You ain't have to coach really. You know what I mean? But I know that it was guys that I was better than. You know what I mean? But, you know, in due time, I always looked at it like that. It's a process for them. They doing what they doing. I'm gonna be there soon, whether it was coaching or whether it was training. I was gonna get there.
Indeed, and I also think that you left at the right time, because what started to happen was the sneaker companies came down younger, and then their team started to turn into like the Walmart. Right. They started trying to take from all of the teams that was like yours to build their squads up. So if they take 3 of your players, 4 of your players, each team might take like 2. So now you in a situation and you like, whoa, you know what I mean? So I think it was smart, because when they came down, they kind of did like the Walmart type thing. You know what I mean?
But you also got to look at it like this. South Jersey is a big hub. If we really would have stuck together like we were supposed to, instead of letting, you know, 3 kids go on this team, 2 go on that one team, and then the big powers come and swipe them all up. Now we all left with nothing instead of working together and making one big funnel. And guess what? They couldn't take nothing. They would have had to bring it to us. But instead, the Philadelphia market comes and swipe. They come and swipe up everything we got.
So now you have the RJS training going. Give us some of the top players that you have developed that have come through there, bro.
I would say from currently on the girls' side, Hannah Hidalgo. That was like a blessing. Omar. I meant Omar. Her dad Orlando, giving me the opportunity because I was working with her brothers Judah and Zach. And just out of conversation, I asked him like, "Hey, what's your daughter doing?" And he was like, "I can bring her too." I'm like, "Absolutely." And then it just, things from there. But when she came in the door, I already knew that she was destined to be who she was. You know what I mean?
Okay.
She was just totally different. You don't, like I said, you don't see those, come in the door often. But when they do, you immediately know that, they're destined for greatness. And that's just, on the girls' side. On the boys' side, I had Jameer Watkins, Latrell Reed, Marcus Randolph.
I remember him too.
Who else? Who else I got? A guy I just recently got, Diggy Coit, Cornelius Robinson, who's at Monmouth, Terrence Jones, just to name a few guys. Quayshawn Lane, of, France Massonet, Richmond Irizugu. And then, just this past year, I had the opportunity to work with Miles Powell, Isaiah Briscoe, just, guys from this area. And then, every March, April into May, I go to Atlanta and I do NBA pre-draft. So I'm out there working with a bunch of NBA guys, G League guys, living out my dream, man.
What was your ties with Trenton Catholic? Because you ran down quite a few Trenton Catholic players off of your list.
So, okay. Actually, all those, most of those guys, they from South Jersey. And my son as well. My son went to that school, but I was like the funnel for them. You know what I mean? Donnie, that's my guy. Which in turn,
that's my guy too.
Introduced me to Fauci. Fauci always, gave me open arms. You know what I mean?
Me too.
My guys were like in the 5th grade. He would just allow me to bring my kids in there and come work out. So I'm a loyal person. So when he did that, it was just like any kid that I had my hands on. It was guaranteed that they was coming through Trenton Catholic. So, I made sure that,
So now as you get the training thing rolling, basketball changes over, and that has become the trend now.
Right.
Talk to me about how you feel that, like, training has become the new thing in basketball.
Well, you realize now that, I guess I'm not going to say realize now, but actually, there's always individuals who feel they could do what you do. You know what I mean? They see you like, oh, he ain't doing nothing. But, for me, this is my full-time job. I don't do nothing else. You know what I mean? I wake up basketball. I go to sleep basketball. I'm not going to a 9 to 5 and then, going to run over here and run some drills at 5 o'clock. I'm at this all day from the moment I wake up to the time I go to sleep. This all I know, man. This saved my life. So me and you not in the same category when it come to other guys. You know what I mean? So when we talk about it, I'm in a whole different lane.
I hear that. So now they talk about trainers. Mostly every kid, they say, starts off with a trainer or has a trainer as part of their game. If that is the case, why do a lot of the critics say that the American players lack fundamentals?
Well, I would have to say that I think over there is out of the country is more one about fundamentals. They go to school for a few hours and then it's basketball. You know what I mean? you know, we at the playground. You know what I mean? Where the flash came from. You know what I mean? So it's a little different. And that's where kids, you know, that's where they see it at first. And then, you know, they take that and then, you know, that's what they translate. Rather than the guy that's here, you know, doing the basic between the legs, behind the back. We want that hezzy cross, you know, that flash.
So what's the first thing you ask a player when they first come into your gym? When they come to you and say, yo, this I'm here to signed up on your thing. I'm here for my personal trainer. What's the first thing you ask? The first thing you want to know about them when they come in?
First of all, I ask them, what's your strengths and what do you think your weaknesses are?
And then where you take it from there?
And then I have them write down their weaknesses and their strengths, and I'll tell them if they're right and where they're wrong at. Because before most kids come in the door with me, I've already went out to see them. I watched them, so
okay.
I want to know what their thoughts are on their game before I begin to talk to them.
Okay. Do you think the evolution of training has destroyed the basketball in the inner cities, meaning that the talent level of basketball in the inner city has dropped because most of the people can't afford to get training? So do you think that the training part of the game has totally destroyed that aspect of basketball?
No, not necessarily. I mean, I think growing up in the inner city, they got a different type of edge than, you know, kids coming from, you know, different outer, you know, suburban kids and things like that. So when you look at it, for instance, like this, you know, my whole family, you know, from the city, you know what I mean? But, you know, I grew up in the suburbs. But when I would bring my kids from the suburbs to the city, they struggled. They ain't had that dog in them. You know what I mean? They ain't want to get touched. They ain't want to get bumped. So I think it worked on both ends. Like, you know, I think both sides need a little balance to go with it. You know what I mean?
When I was watching players play the last few years before, once training came and revolutionized the game, it was kind of hard for me to really. Let me form the question different. Do you feel training took away some of the creativity of the players, their own creativity?
I mean, I think some of it has to do with, you know, with the trainer. You know, I always leave room for kids to have creativity. You know what I mean? Because that's how they come up with things that they come up with. You know what I mean? You got to be able to freelance a little bit. You know what I mean? You got to, like when I used to go study players, you know, you watch a guy you like a movie did. You might not do it like him, but you're gonna practice it, but you're gonna put your twist on it. You know what I'm saying? So you got to have some creativity. That's the difference of some of these players that are at a whole nother level from other guys that are not at a whole nother level.
And it's interesting that you bring that, because I watched something that Gilbert Arenas talked about, and it was an interesting point, and I want to get your take on it. Do you train kids for the level they on, or for a higher level?
Well, let's say this. You know that every kid that comes in the door is not going to get to that level.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be realistic about it. You know what I'm saying? Every single kid's not going to be there. So some kids they just like basketball because their boy plays basketball, or you know, you got different kids that come in the door at different times. You know what I'm saying? So for someone that I can look at and, you know, seeing from when I'm training them and I'm knowing like they got something different. Absolutely. I train them. I absolutely train them different. You got to, but they still got to go through their process as well, though. You know what I mean? I'm not going to jump to, you know, to Z if they ain't got past A, B, C, D, E, and F. Like, you know what I'm saying? They still got to go through the same channels. You know what I mean? They might pick it up faster, but we still going to keep doing it because stuff needs to become repetitive. It needs a click in the mind. It needs to just happen. It got to pop just like that. It got to happen naturally, organically. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, because what he was saying was that guys are trying to teach these kids these pro moves but they playing against high school zones and stuff, and they looking crazy out there because their moves is not working, and they wonder why their moves is not working. But the
Absolutely.
moves is not even wasn't even created to play against that kind of defense.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that 120%. Because I see a lot of that going on now, and I'm just wondering, like, this kid might not even play high school basketball.
Mm-hmm.
Why you even teach him that stuff? You know what I'm saying? Like I said, you honestly got to know walking in the door. You got a good take on who you think is going to really take off and play this game and who may not. You know what I mean? Genetics are big. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you got a mom that's Division I, a dad that's Division I, what's the likelihood of your kids? They're gonna be. That's the likelihood of it.
Now take us to the NBA Combine situation, and how was that experience?
So, I always got to shout out my bro, man. One of the best trainers in the game, Rob Allen from Atlanta, Georgia.
Okay.
I met him on IG, and we just clicked. It was just something God given. Some things are God given, and we connected. I went down to Atlanta, and I had intern for a company called the Skills Factory.
Okay.
He was the head, the head trainer, and from day one, man, he just, we just locked in. From 7 a.m. in the morning till 9 and 10 o'clock at night, we was getting to it. You know what I mean? And some things, they just happen organically. So, after that year, that year that we was there, we had a guy, Jared Roden, Keon Ellis, who's with the Kings, Darius Days, and a couple other guys. So we went out to Chicago. One of the agencies that he worked for, they wanted us to come out. They liked me. They asked me, "Hey, did I want to come out?" I'm like, "Absolutely." So I flew out with them, and I gave me the opportunity to help out. And that put me on the biggest stage of my career. You know what I mean? That, it was a blessing. So after going there, I did well with them. The agent, we really connected. And then this past year, I went back again. And Rob is running his own pre-draft, and I'm his lead assistant. So this past year, another agent here in Jersey who I connected with, we talked. He was coming out to watch me while I was training in Jersey, seeing some of the college guys I was working with, and he sent one of his guys to Atlanta this past year that just passed to represent one of his guys during pre-draft, who's now he was with the Chicago Bulls G League team. His name's Isaiah Moore. So that was a blessing right there. I work with Jay Scrubs, who's with the Boston Celtics. MJ Walker. I had the opportunity to help out with Bowl. I mean, just a ton of guys, man. Like,
So when you walked in there and you see all of this going on, and you think about your own skill set in terms of training, did you feel like you was on par, or did you feel like that you needed a lot of work to do to catch up to where these guys were at?
Nah, I'm definitely on par. Listen, hey, Mike.
I love it.
I'm just saying, hey, Mike, when I get in there, I turn on. So it's electric, man. The energy on is in me. You know what I mean? I ain't running from no smoke, Mike.
Okay.
But like I said, I respect my man Rob. You know what I mean? I appreciate him. He gave me room to breathe. Like, spread my wings. He gave me opportunity. Before workouts, he would let me, work out with guys for 15 minutes. Give myself opportunity to be seen. You know what I mean? Some trainers, they don't do that. They just want you to just rebound and pass the ball, and that's fine. You know what I mean? Because guess what? You gotta crawl before you walk. You know what I'm saying? So, and I also want to shout out Drew Hanlon. Somebody that I came up under. I was in his mentorship program for a few years. I had the opportunity to work one of his pre-drafts as well with Matt McClung and Charles Bassey. And then I had the opportunity to go out in LA and work with some of his guys as well out there. Just that opportunity, was major.
Now, Describe the feeling you have when a player just leaves and go with another person without even having a conversation with you first.
Honestly, Mike, I don't let none of
Mm.
that stuff bother me, man. Like it is what it
Wow.
is. People gonna do what they do, man.
Wow.
I'ma just stay solid. You know what I mean? Because I
Wow.
look at it like this: they gonna come back.
Mm.
They gonna come
Mm.
back.
So was it always like that, or was something you had to learn over time?
Well, you got to think about this. AAU was kind of like the same thing. That's all it was. Kids training with him, they hop in here. Younger kids, they think when they see, oh, these other guys go over here, oh, I'm about to go train with this guy too. They just trying to they following. You know what I'm saying? They don't know no better than kids. So you know what I mean? But they gotta understand. They gotta see. They gotta go and find out on their own. And like I said, before you know it, they come back. It's part of the business. You know.
Did you ever have players that you thought was keeping it real, but then you found out they was moonlighting with another trainer on the low?
Those ones weren't never locked in. You know what I mean?
Okay.
They always felt like you got to look at it like this. You might say you might have a bulk of like 10. If I had like 10 guys, and like same thing with the AAU team. If only 7 of them getting playing time, the other 3 is drifters anyway. It's just a matter of time. So that's the same thing. They come in to train, but they might not be. Some of them might not be. What they think they are, and they feel out of place. So they drift off. They go somewhere where they might be somebody else's number one. Like, you get what I'm saying? And guess what? And that's fine. Hey, I'm cool with that. But the ones that stay true, they true just like me. You know what I'm saying? They've been with me from the mud when this RJS thing first started. So they seen my grind. They seen my come up. Why would you want to leave a joker like that though?
Okay,
You know what I'm saying?
okay. Hey, without naming names, have you ever got into a verbal dispute with another trainer over a player doing that kind of stuff?
Nah, never.
Okay,
Never.
Okay. I'm just trying to get a feel of this kind of game because
never. I mean, it's like down here, it's only a few guys that they really play their part. You know what I mean? And like I'll tell it like this, yo, when you go to the grocery store, how many loaves of bread is in there, man? It's enough for everybody to eat. So I'm not hurting or worried about what anybody else got going on. I'm just trying to stay on my grind, man. Stick to my script.
Yeah, because with me, like, I never got into training. I had people that told me, like, why don't you train people too? When I was doing all the other stuff, like, right. I don't know how to do that. I just bring in somebody like you or somebody else to come in and add that part to it. I don't never try to do everything. If I know somebody that can already do it, why I'm gonna try to go out there, especially if I don't know what I'm doing. So I'm trying to just learn the whole inside outs of it from your experience, or like what goes on into this. You get what I'm saying? And I'm glad that you opened up my eyes to a lot of this. What do you think one of the biggest misconceptions about trainers?
Like I said before to you, that people just they think like you trying to get over or like it's simple. Everybody think they could just do this. It's not everything's not meant for everybody. You know what I mean? And I tip my hat off to all the guys that's putting that work in, man. Who perfecting their craft and seeking seeking from other people to learn more. You know what I mean? Be a sponge, because sometimes, like for me, you got to go out and spend money to learn some things. You got to get out. You got to spread your wings. And then sometimes you got to take trips for free. You know what I mean? Without getting paid. That's part of the game. You know what I mean? Sometimes you always ain't gonna get paid. You know what I mean? But the payday is this: when they call you back and say, "We want you to come back next year, man. We're gonna pay you." Indeed. That's the payday. You get what I'm saying? That's the payday for me. Because guess what? I know I'm gonna get called back because I'm working, man.
I saw Gino Oriema talk about this on one of the Instagram posts, and it went viral. And he talked about our lack of development as American basketball. He said he went to AAU tournament and he used to coach AAU and stuff. Right. He went into his own spill. Right. As a trainer, do you feel AAU kids play too many AAU games.
Absolutely.
All right. How you feel that way?
Because I think, you know, after coming out of the season, it's time to get back in the gym and get to work. You know what I mean? Like, they just came out of high school season. You know, guys are still, you know, struggling in some areas. They need to get back in the gym and they need to work a little bit. They need to have a couple months off where they just training before they jump right back into AAU.
Can you see that effect when you get them in the gym and you try to really make them work and they just used to playing games?
Oh, absolutely. I had a kid in there today. I told him the same thing. He, like, in 15 minutes he was dead tired. I said, "How you tired? You in season? You in the gym 15 minutes and you breathing, tugging at your shorts. You ain't in shape." So I mean, the job that where they was at wasn't done. You know what I mean? And then you got to figure and see a lot of guys, they ain't really getting a lot of shots up. You know what I mean? So I think it's just they got to go back, you know, to the grind a little bit where they're in the gym 3-4 times a week, just perfecting, working on their craft, trying to get better in those areas that they're struggling in.
Now, I know many trainers from over the years that I had conversations with, and a lot of them, one topic, a lot of them, I never really saw that many trainers that were happy with was rankings. How do you feel about rankings? Most of the trainers that I knew, they did not like rankings. So how do you feel about rankings?
Hey, Mike, some things I don't even touch. That's one I don't even touch.
Why?
I just don't. Some things just don't need to be commented on. You know what I
mean? Not where players should be ranked at. I'm talking about the ranking system, period. Because a lot of trainers that I talk to would particularly like it's harder to train those kind of kids that's ranked high because their heads are big and they already feel like they have all the tools. So it's hard to get them better. You get what I'm saying?
Absolutely. But I'm one of them. I like those. I like the players that's in the middle, man. The ones that's in the middle. You know what I mean?
Why the middle? Why the middle?
Because they need that little nudge, man. They need that little edge. And I give them that push. You know what I mean? They push them right into position. You know what I'm saying? So and outside of that, there's nothing wrong with having, you know, a 5-star guy that you may have had from, you know, day one. I mean, you got to figure all that, you know, the hoopla and, you know, all that stuff. It can get to you, man. That's called those evils, man. They get to you. You know what I mean? So all you can do is try to just prepare them. You know what I mean? Because, you know, everybody make mistakes. These kids is young, man.
I had a conversation, right, with a person that was a high-level agent. And he told me that the hardest players to represent is the ones that were in high school ranked where you just said. He said the hardest ones to represent are the ones that's ranked between like 20 and 40. He said because they think they're as good as the top 10 players because they play AAU against them, high school against them.
Yep.
So they don't work as hard as the guys that's ranked behind them.
Right.
You get what I'm saying? So the guys that's ranked behind them are hungry. The ones that's in the 60s and 70s and 80s, they hungry. The dudes that's on the top are already nice.
Right.
But the ones in the middle feel like they just as nice as the guys at the top. So they don't work as hard as the ones on the tail end. And he said those are the ones that are the most entitled and hardest to represent because you got to try to motivate them, like you said.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I like them guys that's overlooked, Mike. Overlooked. They the ones that got that dog, that hunger. That's them JUCO players, Mike. You know?
And we're going to get to a little bit of that. So let's talk about some of the players that you had that came through RJS. So we're going to pull them up, and then I want you to talk about when you first laid eyes on them. What was your plan for them? And do you think that they got to the level that you thought that they were going to get at, or did they surpass the level that you thought they were going to get at? So let's start with ladies first. Like you said earlier, start with Hannah. Tell me when you laid eyes on her, what did you think that she needed to work on? And did she get to where you where you thought she would get, or did she exceed it?
Yes, absolutely. When I first laid eyes on her, I knew she was destined to be that 1%. I think that only thing she was lacking at that time was her jump shot.
Mm.
That was the one thing. But the way she plays defense, and she's a gnat on the ball, man. Like some of that just picks up, and you don't even have to worry about that part of it, because she's just a workhorse, man. From the tip off to the sound of the buzzer, man. She's a phenomenal player, man. I can't say any more. Whether she worked with me or anybody else she had, she was destined to be who she is right today. Definitely could say that.
At what moment when you saw her that you said she different?
Okay, so look, during COVID,
Okay.
I probably had maybe like 20 something people in the gym. Probably 19 of them was probably boys. She was the only girl.
Mm-hmm.
We were playing one-ons, right? And she ran through everybody.
Mm.
I was like, man. At that moment, I was just like this. It's over. You know what I mean? I said it's over. It was like it was too like it was easy for her. You know what I mean? It was like every time she get on the floor, it's like she just raises her level of play, no matter who she's in front of. If you talk about this person being this, oh, this person's supposed to be that. She's like, okay, no problem. And she gets in there and she just turns the levels up, man. And it's just like I haven't seen anybody match her yet.
Okay. Let's get to the next one. Isaiah Briscoe. When did you come into the contact with the situation, and what did you think that you could bring to it? Now, was this
This
what
was just
level did you
this
come into
this kind of
contact
just happened. This kind of happened this summer. Like got in there,
Okay.
I started working Miles out, and Miles hit me like, yo, he was like, yo, can I bring Briscoe through? And I'm
Okay.
like, yeah, absolutely. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So I mean, I always liked him coming up through high school. You know what I mean? I just felt like, once he got to the next level, they felt like it was his jump shot that wasn't, he couldn't make it on a consistent basis. You know what I mean?
Mm.
That was the words at the next level. You know what I mean? But this guy, he reminds me of Joe Johnson, man. Like I had the opportunity to work with him too as well. And he's a hard to guard, man, regardless of whatever the situation is.
After you analyze his game when you had Briscoe in the gym, what do you think his strengths was, and were their assumption of his weaknesses true?
I mean, he's with his jump shot. I would say he's streaky. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But who wants to guard him any night of the week, though? You know what I mean? He's so physical. You know what I mean? So shifty, crazy handles. You know what I mean? His hands are so big, man. Like it's crazy. I
Do
mean,
you think his future would have been different if he picked a different college, or it just would have been what it is now?
nah, I believe that if he went somewhere else, it may have been different. That's what I believe.
Okay.
What's your take on that?
Um, I think that I shared this on here before. I didn't like the Kentucky move.
Mm-hmm.
I think that when I looked at the rankings and I saw what was going on, it seemed like because Cal and them came in late.
Right.
So it seemed like that he was and Briscoe didn't commit yet.
Mm-hmm.
And it seemed like Cal had struck out on Malik Newman and Dozier and Trier, Alonzo Trier.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was like, I gotta get one of these top dudes.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? But I don't think he was pursuing him early on.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that I didn't like the way that they played him. Like they put him on the wing and didn't put him in a position for him to be really play his game. To have a rock, play a screen and roll, go downhill.
Yep. Yeah, he's definitely
he wasn't in that position.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. All right. Yep. Next one up. Jameer Watkins. Talk to me.
Oh man, he about to be history in the making, man. He probably gonna be one of the best to ever come out of Trenton, man.
Without question.
This kid has so much upsides to his game. He's still climbing. That's the crazy part. Definitely a two-way player. Can shoot it, put it on the floor, can play anywhere from the 2, the 3 to the 4. I love his game, man. I always knew he was destined for something, man. Ever since the first time I seen him at Moody Park.
So once you got him in the gym, what was your assessment and how did you break him down and what did you think he needed to work on?
Working with him, I think that just ball handling, off the dribble breakdown, coming off DHOs, pick and roll stuff, because he can handle the ball. So I think all that in itself will make him more marketable. You know what I mean? Because he could play from the 2 through the 4, but he could probably guard maybe 1 through 4. You know what I'm saying?
I remember his senior year when he was on the court. That's when I was on Facebook a lot saying that he was the best talent in the state.
Right.
And and it's something echoing. Is that on your end?
Can you still hear it?
No, I'm talking about when I speak, it was echoing.
Oh no. Everything was good.
So when I saw him matched up against Lance Ware and Wilshire at Roselle, and it was somebody else that was that year, and he just was different.
Right.
He had that total package, and he could get a clean look whenever he wanted.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? The only thing I wanted him to do was speed up that motor a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
And then it seemed like he was showing them flashes of when he sped up the motor, he dominated the game.
Even more. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Well, you seen that, not to slide away from things, but we seen that at the event I did, me and Dunk, we did at TCA.
100%. Yeah, we're gonna get to that joint. And I think whoever advised him, this last move he did might have made him millions of dollars because all Florida State do is put out those kind of players.
Right, absolutely.
So that was an excellent move for him to go there because they're known for putting out players 6'7", 6'8" wings that could do the kind of stuff that he do. You know what I'm saying? And the guy Hamilton been there for years, and he's used to developing those players.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, I think that was a phenomenal move for him, man. Like, he's able to spread his wings now. Like, but still, like I told you, he still got so much more upsides to him.
I know. That's the scary part. That's the scary part. Next,
I think like right now, like I think they got him like on some. He's like they got him number 83 on the board. So we'll see. Come March, anything could change quickly. You know what I mean? So,
okay, next up, Miles Powell. Talk to me when he first came in. When you first had him, what did you see? What did you think he needed to work on? And do you think he reached the level or he exceeded where you thought he was going to be at?
Honestly, when I first seen him, I always knew he was a pro. When he was a kid, I used to see him. He used to play in that South Jersey basketball league I told you about that they got down here. First time I seen him, I think he was like 7th or 8th grade, and he had, his jump shot was, always high level. You know what I mean? And the only thing that I thought when he was younger was, would he be able to guard on the perimeter? You know what I mean? That was the only thing. You know what I mean? And just being, because he was, like a tweener, you know what I mean? But going into Seton Hall, he trimmed that weight down, man, and then, things just took off for him real crazy. And definitely I think he should be in the league though, without question. You know what I mean? But it's a tricky business, man. But I do believe that things is going to happen how they supposed to, and he's going to make his way in there.
Indeed. I mean, I knew him since he was young. He played in my tournaments with the Blitz.
Right.
You know what I mean? Then he moved over to other squads, and he was a gamer. He the type of kid, I don't know. I never seen him practice, so don't quote me on this or whatever. He the type of kid that he performed better in the game than he probably did in practice. He seemed like he was a gamer, and he liked when the bright lights came on. You get what
Absolutely.
I'm saying? I think
he's definitely for the lights. I mean,
I
he
think
shows
that,
up. You know what I mean?
yeah. I think that he was a victim of the times.
Right.
In terms when we were growing up, your college career was celebrated, and there was a lot of emphasis put on being an All-American in college and this and that. And now you're kind of penalized the longer you stay.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And he had a phenomenal career in the Big East and in Seton Hall. You know what I'm saying? And I think that should have been emphasized more, and he should have been rewarded more from the NBA. The fact that he did all of that. You get what I'm saying?
No, definitely.
You know what I mean? And he putting up numbers where he at. And
his numbers is crazy. Yeah, his numbers is crazy.
You know what I mean?
Especially in the G League, it was crazy. You know?
Yeah, it's hard though, because I be seeing the G League numbers and people be putting up, like, if I was one of those guys, I would probably be frustrated if I was scoring like 48, 49, and I don't never get a call or this or that. Like, that gotta be frustrating. You get what I'm saying?
Oh, absolutely.
Indeed. So now these next two, I kind of went a little personal, closer to home, because honestly, for my opinion, these were two of your best work that I seen. Because I remember who the kids were when you first got them and you had them, and then to what they doing now and to the level. Like, and I was impressed by this work. The first one is this kid.
Oh man, this my dog right here. This heart and soul right here, man.
Indeed. Now tell me about this, because I ain't gonna lie. When I saw him at TCA, when he got there, I didn't see Division I.
You didn't? Oh man.
Nah, I didn't.
I'm gonna be honest with you. You know, I would look at him as like a not like a Dame Lillard. You know how he was saying he was overlooked, and because initially he was at RV, and you know, he ain't getting no varsity time. You know, and I went to his mom, and I told him, I was like, y'all got to get him out of here. You know what I mean? But you got to also know this: he was a baseball player. Like, basketball wasn't even.
I think you told me something like that before when we came and worked in the camp.
So, you know, I always knew deep down inside that he was going to turn into a basketball player. You know, even though his mom and dad they were thinking baseball, but I knew basketball. And the crazy thing was, once he left RV and went to TCA, that was the situation where he needed. You know what I mean? Every day practice is hard. You know what I mean? Because you're in there working. Everybody's in there. You know, everybody's on that team. Battle. You got Jameer. You got EJ. You got Quay. You got Rodrigue. You got who else was there? Little Don. I mean, that team was crazy, man. It's nothing but Division I players on that team.
What did you do to get his game from there to there? That's what I want to know.
Oh, you want to know? All we did. Hey, listen. I just got it. We went in the gym every single day, 6 o'clock in the morning, 12 o'clock in the afternoon, 9 o'clock at night, 3 o'clock in the morning. And I beat it into him, man. I just beat it into him. I told him, like, you better than them. You better than them. You are. And then his body just started transforming. You know, Ralph at TCA, man, he did a phenomenal job with a lot of those guys just transforming their bodies. You know what I mean? But the kid always had it in him. It's just he just needed an opportunity. You know what I mean? And then you figure he went to Petty and got Player of the Year at Petty. Now you got to think it's nothing but big time Division I players that went to big time schools, but he got Player of the Year over all of them. Like, you got to think about that. So guess what? He didn't even get an offer coming from there, but ended up going to school in Kansas.
Now talk to me about that experience, because didn't something happen like during COVID or something like that? So, take me there.
So he went out there, and his first week and a half, he got like 13 offers. Now, guess what? How crazy is that? No offers from a single soul in the state of New Jersey. But you go away to one of the top programs in the country and you get 11, 12, 13 offers in a week and a half. How's that happening?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
Somebody wasn't doing their job.
Yeah, absolutely. So the crazy thing is he didn't play on no big time AAU program, none of that stuff. Like, you know, we just we just kept grinding. I kept telling him, we're gonna keep believing because God knows where you're supposed to be. But you gotta know it too, but you gotta keep working, you gotta keep fighting, you gotta keep digging. You know what I mean? And like I said, he ended up getting a high ankle sprain. And it, you know what I mean, it really it hurt him, and he ended up losing his starting spot. And his team went off, went into the playoffs. They was getting ready to play in the finals, and COVID hit. So he came back home. You know, got back to work. We listen, I was probably one of the only guys that had a gym. You know what I mean? So we grinding real quietly though. Early in the, we working out 4, 5, 6 times a day. And he got a call from St. Peter's, and they was like, "Hey, you want to walk on?" And he was like, but in the midst of that, he had heart surgery too.
Wow.
So that was a crazy thing. He had heart surgery too, and so he ended up walking on because he was getting ready to go to another JUCO, but they didn't end up having a season. So he ended up walking on to St. Peter's. Started probably like 10 games as a walk on.
Whoa.
And then after that year, he got a full scholarship.
Praise the Most High, bro. Praise the Most High. I remember you working with him and developing this kid. Like I said, like this is one of your best jobs. Do you think the lack of the high profile AAU team being pampered and all like that, do you think the lack of that helped him with his hunger?
Absolutely. Wow. Like I said, Mike, we was in the gym so much, man. Like my body of work with him is just unmatched. You know what I'm saying? Like it's the vibe, man. Like I know what he need. You know what I'm saying? And I gave it to him. That's it. You know what I mean? So right now, you see him, he blossoming over there at St. Peter's now. He's like second leader scorer on the team. You know what I mean? Probably top 20 in the conference scoring. You know what I mean? Just doing a great job running the team. He's always been one of those coaches, players, man, that just goes out there and leads. Man, he's a leader, and I guess that's what I gave him because I was a leader too on the court, man. I ran the show as a point guard as well. So, that's the tools I put into him. You know what I mean? And then on his own, just believing and just constantly sticking to the script, man.
All right, let's get to the last one. Now, this is definitely was some of your best work because I remember when this kid came playing in my tournament, and then when I saw what transpired, I was like, "Wow!" Talk about it.
Listen, let me tell you, this straight dog, man. Dog. You know what you're getting. Like when you go to war, he the kid you want next to you. You know what I'm saying? He taking all that smoke. You know what I mean? And he just kept believing too, man. I was preaching the same thing to him. But like I said, for him, guess what? He got a lot of genetics. His mom was a Division I track star. Dad was a Division I football player. The genetics is there. Like he just caught his later. You know what I mean? A lot of his stuff came later. The early part was just you gotta build yourself. You gotta develop. You know what I mean? You just gotta continue to work. And then guess what? He started surpassing other people. You know what I mean? But also the number one thing is like this: he got something instilled in him that not too many players have. You know what I mean? That's why he's doing a great job over there at Monmouth right now, man. On Synergy, his numbers are crazy, man. Crazy. As soon as he touches the floor, he's just instant. You know what I mean? Plus. You know what I mean?
So when he first came in and you started working with him, what was your game plan and what did you think you needed to do?
From you got to look at it like this. I think he needed to develop on the outside. Like he was more down low post under the basket. I extended him away from the basket. And also I told him when he did that reclass year, I told his dad when he plays in games, he's not going to play down low. He's out there getting jump shots, taking those shots, working on stuff on the outside on the perimeter. We're not worried about going down and being in the low post and none of that stuff. And over time, the confidence grew. You know what I mean? And this past summer, I even seen it. He's in the gym with a bunch of pros and some college guys. Just watching him, I'm just like, yo, the confidence is there, man. He reminds me of of a Draymond, but can shoot it and put it on the floor. Like people don't really get to see all that because when he was at Camden, he just sometimes when you're at certain places, you just got to play your role.
Indeed,
you know what I mean?
Indeed.
And you know what? But that role that he has, man, you can put him anywhere on any single team, and he'll dominate at that role. You know what I mean? And that's part of being able to translate to the next level. You know what I'm saying?
All right, man. I just wanted to give you your props for those players and get a little insight on how it was when you was developing them and I'm getting them ready for that next level. Now let's talk about a little bit about right before COVID, you did an event at TCA and the energy was crazy. It was smacked in there. It was like you had all the young kids in there at the like their mouth watering about this kind of basketball. I was excited because I hadn't seen an event in a high school event. I did mostly middle school, right. A high school event in the Mercer County area that was electrified like that on that evening. And you said you and Julian came together and put it together. Like, so what was the process and how hard was it?
To be honest with you, it was about one game. One game will make the whole show.
Okay.
I already knew that in my mind. I said, I already got TCA on Smash. All right, that's a no-brainer. It's a go for me already. And he Dunk with the went to Temple. So initially that's where he started at. So and Brunson was Temple. So that was an easy connect. I said, listen, if you can make that happen, this joint gonna sell out. I already know it. Listen, I already know it for a fact.
How hard was the negotiations?
Listen, he could do his part. I did my part already. I already knew. Listen, Mike, I already knew he could make that happen. I already had the other part happen. And that was, once you put the stamp on the flyer with that, everybody else was sold already. I ain't have to do nothing. Phone calls were just coming in. Oh, I went in on a ticket. All right, cool. I got you.
Yeah, like I know for me, it's not that easy to get me excited when I walk into a building and I ain't just being arrogant. I just seen 10 million basketball games. So it ain't really like it gotta be something to have me like, yo.
That's a fact.
Yeah, I like this kind of energy.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Saying? And I even made a video about it that next day about the energy because I saw the intensity on the court. But I also saw the young kids that was there, and it increased their thirst,
right,
to want to be in that kind of event. And I just thought that level of competition was something that we needed to see in Mercer County because it needed a shot in the arm.
Nah, we definitely needed it. You know what I mean?
You get what I'm saying? You get what I'm saying? So that was good, man. So what's the future for Rickey Sullivan, man?
To be honest with you, I'm still grinding, man. I'm like my plans is to hopefully get on one of these NBA teams as a pro player development coach. And if that doesn't turn out for me, then I'm gonna get with a collegiate one of these schools, one of these colleges, and be either a recruiter or do player development. That's the plan. From day one, that's always been the plan. I'm never going to deviate from the plan.
Now you go in there to the college program. You sure you ready for this NIL stuff, bro? This is a whole different animal. This guy every day I go on Instagram, one of these top coaches crying, bro. Like they crying right now, bro.
Hey, Mike. This is me, man. This is what I love to do, man. So there's nothing else in the world I'd rather do.
But it's a different story when that player that you're trying to motivate with these drills that he make more than you.
Hey man, sometimes it be like that, but guess what? Some players they respect what it is, man. They respect your body of work. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And when they know you work with some guys, obviously they know that those guys trusted you, right?
Okay.
So they're not gonna have a problem trusting you as well. You know what I mean?
All right, I respect that. I'm gonna ask you like I ask all of my guests. Give me a situation you feel God brought you through so you can be an example for other people.
Well, I'm gonna make it short and wrap it up in a small thing. earlier in my career, I stumbled. I had to go do some time, right? And upon that time, I put this plan together right here. Everything you see happening right now for me was all put down on paper. And I followed every single step from the day I walked out to this present day. And I'm living my dream, man.
And then that's when he said that he pushed you on your purpose when you in your darkest hour, bro. That's Absolutely. Why I found my purpose at when I was in rehab the second time. So I definitely understand what you're saying, man. Okay. And how do you want Rickey Sullivan to be remembered?
A guy in the community, man, that helped every kid, man, try to live out their dreams, man, in any possible way, man. And being the mentor to them, and just knowing that if anything happens, they can pick up the phone and call me, man, and I'm gonna be there to help them out.
Man, I want to thank you for coming on, man. And I made this podcast because I wanted to give people their flowers, especially people that came and supported me when I came through with Basketball Spotlight, and because I don't like it when people start to give people their props after they're gone. Once they see their picture up after they died, and everybody want to say, "Oh, he was great. He did this. He did that," and then that person also never get a chance to tell their story, like how they got where they got. You know what I mean? The different things that they did, the hunger they had. So I want to give you your flowers, bro. You put in a lot of work. You develop some kids on and off the court, and you deserve your props, man. And that's why you be one of the first ones I call when I got something that I need coaches or trainers or this or that. You like one of the first people I call, man. So keep pushing. And if I'm here, if I can help you in any way, just give me a holler, man, and we could build from there, bro.
Nah, I appreciate you, man. But one last thing I want, anybody watching, man, go follow at @runjumpshoot_training. Or go to rjsbasketball.com. You know what I mean? To check me out and reach out to me and get some work.
Check him out at the addresses he just put up. And
at runjumpshoot_training, or my website at my website rjsbasketball.com.
Indeed, brother, man. Maz said, good interview, my Maz. The best middle school, the best Moody Park coach ever. Got us the championship, my boy right there.
I know, man. That's my man right there. We had some times down there out there at the 6'2" and under league and all that good stuff, man. He could definitely get to it, man.
Maz, and tell him I talked to Maz when I was in rehab, and we put the plan together, the Win Moody Park League. I was in rehab and he called me. I was in rehab, answered the phone. And
I got a chip out. Hey, I got a chip out there too, man. At Moody Park, man. One of my teams, man. We got a chip out there.
Man, I got two coaching chips and the GM, bro. I'm on a different level, bro.
But listen, I'm a guy that came from out of town, man. They ain't want that to happen, man.
Facts.
You know what I mean? I took my bump 20, 30-point losses to get back and win one the next year. So you know how it go.
Facts. Yeah, Sleep just came on too. He said, "What up, man?"
Sleep was good.
So we're gonna definitely close out, and man, if I'm here, if you need me, hit me up, bro. Thanks for coming on again, man.
Absolutely, appreciate you, baby.
All right, shalom, man. Yeah, that was Rick from RJS, man. Another In the Spotlight podcast, man, and it was a good show. I learned a lot about the business of training and the ins and out of it. I hope you guys got something from it. Stay tuned for the highlights from this interview, and tune in tomorrow for Sober Heads podcast. Tomorrow I got a special guest coming on to share his experience, strength, and hope. This is Mike. Enjoy the rest of your night. Shalom.